Hi guys, it's Christine with Indigo Wings Healing, and I have a little visitor with me today. This is my doggy Barrett. It's my bud. Oh yeah, you know I'm talking about you. So I wanted to come to you guys today, talk about a few things. You know, I had been wanting to do, a video for you guys all week, and it just wasn't coming to me exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And today a few things kind of came together, and I suddenly had it kind of pulled together how I wanted to talk about things. So I hope that you'll like my message and what I have to talk about. And I really hope that this microphone positioning works. I know that some of you have been having a hard time hearing me when I'm talking, and I don't know how I can make that better. So it is something that I'm working on. So I'm working on it. So I have my notes. I'm sorry, bud. He doesn't like this ear, or the wire on his ear. I have some notes so that I kind of don't get on too much of a tangent, because I don't want to have this go on too long. So I don't want to lose you guys on what I'm talking about. But I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this has been a very interesting time energetically, particularly the last week or so. I know the first couple days this week, I felt real, I don't want to say anxious, that's not quite the right word, but I felt very jittery. I actually felt bored, which I never feel bored. I have plenty of things to do. Between running this business, having 3 children and a household to take care of, I have a lot of things to do, and it was just like this, it was a very weird feeling, and a lot of other people were feeling very similarly, and I think it was just, there were a lot of changes in energies coming in. There was a lot of dense feeling energy, but from what I'm hearing, that's supposed to be lightening up, and we're supposed to be coming out of a lot of this intense energy towards the end of the month. The full moon that is on Sunday is supposed to be a pretty powerful full moon. So be prepared for that. Try to stay away from stressful situations if you can, because from what I'm reading, it's going to be a more tension-filled, apt for drama. So if you can stay out of those types of situations, that will be good for you. So, with all of the weird feeling energy, it kind of brings up for me an interesting conversation that we can have. Do you ever think about what kind of energy you're putting out into the universe? And I don't mean just once or twice, we all have those moments. But what do you consistently put out into the universe? What kind of person are you? Are you the person that you really want to be? And that's if you really get down and dirty and truthful with yourself, if you think about it from the perspective of you're not putting this out on Facebook, you're not, this is, pretend you're going to the pearly gates and someone's checking your life scroll. Like, are you living in a way that you're okay with the energy that you're putting out into the universe? I feel like that's a deep question. And that came up for me this week as something to think about. And as I talk about this, hear me softly. Don't take anything I say personally, because it's not, this isn't a personal attack on anybody. These are just things to think about, how we can change our lives a little bit, be more aware of the things that are going on around us. Quite honestly, I think most of the people who are watching this are not the people who maybe need to hear some of the messages, but you might know people who need to hear the messages, and you might be able to spread the word and help others to think about what are they putting out there. Because I really do believe in the law of attraction. Like attracts like, and what we put out there energetically, we attract more of that. And I find that the more that I focus on being peaceful and putting peaceful energy out there, I attract more peaceful energy to me. And there's always free will. People always do goofy things. And I feel like the law of attraction does not, like people who are living in an area where there's a war, like they haven't done anything to deserve a war, like that's kind of taking it out of context. And I'm not saying that people that have bad things happen to them, deserve them, or, did things to attract that. I'm talking more about, if you are in a negative state of mind, if you're coming from a negative place and you wonder why you are surrounded by negativity, you need to rethink how you're approaching things. And some people are going to be open to that, and they're going to want to try to change. And some people are not going to see that they're being very negative. And they're going to be wanting to blame other people. So I'm going to get in to kind of what has led me to want to talk about some of these things. And kind of how it relates to twin flame situations. And I think that this pertains to twin flame situations, but this pertains to everyday life and all relationships, everything. So I had a situation pop up this week, and I don't want to go into it too much because I honestly don't want to give it that much energy. I had somebody, I'm trying to think of how I even want to put it, because like I said, like I don't even want to put the energy out there. I basically had somebody scam me, and it was very disappointing at first, you know, and at first, like for you know, a hot minute, like just a minute, I was so discouraged. You know, and it was business related. And, you know, luckily that it only lasted for a minute. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to let this get to me. And I decided, you know, because what happened was real crappy. But that's not what I'm not going to dwell on it. I looked at it instead and I said, you know what? The universe has blessed me with this situation so that I can learn something from it. And I can have gratitude for how I can move forward from this. And I am focusing on taking all of the good things from this that I can. Like, do I want to be ticked? Yeah, I do. You know, I'm human and I'm not perfect. You know, and I'm very Virgo, so, you know, the fairness in me, whew. But part of what I'm on a mission to do is I don't want to lose my cool, and I don't want to put negative energy out there. And I would prefer to see what happened, all the good things, how much I've grown. I didn't go out on the internet and blast the person. I didn't complain. The people that I did go to, I said, how can I, moving forward, what can I do differently? How can I prevent this? I want to be proactive. I didn't complain. You know, instead I said, you know what, I'm grateful because there were some things that I had been dragging my feet on personally. Because I was comfortable, and I will be very frank, I was just being lazy. One of the things, I had to go file some paperwork down in the city, and people, I live outside of Buffalo. It's not like I live outside New York City, and going to New York City takes hours upon hour, you know, to go get somewhere, and I'm in lines with all these people. No. The errand that I had to run to take care of things took me 15 minutes maybe. It took me longer to find a parking spot in the parking garage and walk to the building than it did for me to do what I had to do. I was just being lazy. This situation pushed me to do something that I had been needing to do. So that was the universe kicking me in my behind to do something I needed to do. And then I will be doing another errand that I've been putting off on Monday. I would have done it today, but my kids had a half day of school, and I'm not taking my 3 kids to where I had to go. I'm just not. So, and then I'll be, you know, there were some changes to my website that I had been hemming and hawing about. A really good friend of mine had been telling me I needed to be utilizing a different platform for something, and I just didn't want to put the effort into it. Again, this was the universe kicking my butt because this platform was something I needed to be doing. So this was all good. It was, I was dragging my feet on steps that I needed to take to continue my growth. And this situation was that kick in the butt that I needed to do that. This situation also really, I mean, I've always been so over the moon thankful and just like at a loss for words how appreciative I am for all of the people who follow me and are my clients and share their experiences with me, share their testimonials of the work that they've done with me. And this just brought me to yet one more level of appreciation that I have for the people that I work with that are amazing, because out of the thousands of people that follow me, which that is like mind-blowing to me, out of the hundreds of clients that I have, one crappy one? Not bad. Not bad. Like, I have amazing followers. Thank you. Thank you to all of you. I am so grateful to you guys. And this situation, like, thank you. You know, it brought me another level of gratitude for all of the people that I work with that are amazing. And I work with a lot of them. So, you know, that's pretty cool too. And, you know, and it just solidified for me how much I don't want to live in a space of being angry about something and giving my energy to something that I have no control over. I'm not going to waste my time being mad about something. Now, here's where I want people to hear me softly, and where I say, what kind of energy are you putting out there? Because, you know, with law of attraction, the person that, you know, the situation involved that hurt me and, you know, stole money from me, you know, I have a lot of empathy and sadness for them. Their life is not in a place where they want it to be. And I'm not going to divulge, you know, any personal details, because that's part of, you know, the privacy that I have with people that I've helped. I'm not going to share details. But, you know, I cannot help but think, if this is how you are behaving in your life and treating people, then that's the type of energy that you are attracting into your life, and I'm not surprised that you're unhappy, and that things aren't really going the way you want it to go. Because if you put energy out like that, it's going to come back. You know, again, that law of attraction is a real thing. And, you know, I'm still working on the karma thing. I've been really wanting to do a video talking about karma, but there's some different schools of thought out there on karma right now, and I haven't wrapped my head around my thoughts on them completely. So I want to be careful using the word, but people often say things like, what goes around comes around, and, you know, oh, karma will get you. You know, like, it's the law of attraction, and you're putting energy out there. And it's not so much about, like, people getting what they deserve. That's not what it is or what happens. But it's when you put negative energy out there over and over and over again, you're attracting negative energy back to you. So if you're treating people in a way that is not good, you're going to attract things like that back to you. On the flip side, if you treat people well, you're going to attract more positivity towards you. And I'll tell you what, I started noticing a difference in my life. Trying to think. It was about my baby, my middle child was maybe like 4 or 5 months old. And I got really into feng shui. I started really, doing a lot of, that's when I started learning about law of attraction, The Secret, and I started using some of the principles. And one of the basic, very, very basic ideas that they talked about for if you want to attract more money into your life, more prosperity, more abundance, is by giving more to other people. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like, I'll try it. And it was things like, when you're at the checkout line and they ask you, do you want to donate to St. Jude's? Do you want to donate $5 to St. Jude's or $1 to St. Jude's? Or do you want to donate $1 to the food pantry? Or, whatever it is. I never said yes. And at that time, my husband had just started his new job where he is now. He was doing, he was doing well. Was he working both jobs? He was working for his current job part-time, and he was working his old job full-time. We were hoping that the job he has now, we were hoping that was going to go full-time, but it wasn't full-time. And I was still working in higher education, which pays crap for what I was doing. And, we had 2 kids. I had just gotten off maternity leave. Money was tight for us. So I said, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. And I started being generous wherever I could. Whenever I saw someone in need or a homeless person, because I worked in the city, I gave. Even though money was tight for me, I gave. And anytime I was asked, can you donate $1 for this? I did. Because money was tight, but I could do that. And I always, anytime I was at a coffee shop or any place where they have the things where you can put the money in, drop, your change, I always donated my extra change. I totally started doing that. A couple months later, my husband's job went full-time months before we expected that it would. We found ourselves in a position where we were able to buy a new home, but not only were we able to buy a new home, we were able to build a new home, the one that I'm sitting in right now. And let me tell you, I still don't really know how that happened, because the house that we built, we got the most amazing deal on it. I still don't really understand how that happened, but it was amazing. But things started working out for us in terms of our finances and abundance. My husband then, we moved into our house and everything, and and I still continued that act of always giving, always gave. I still do it. And where was I going with that? Oh, when we built my house too, or our house, I still practiced feng shui. There were some things with drains and water. I had the before they laid our floors and put in cabinets and everything, I did spray paints of red around all the drains, because drains are a way that like money energy can flow out of your house. I think our contractors thought I was a little bit crazy, the things I was doing before we built our house. Anyways, that's a side note. See why I need notes, because I go on tangents. So you know, I've been a follower and believer of the law of attraction for a long time, and I really, it works, you know. So after we'd been in our house for not quite a year, I got pregnant with my third baby, and then you know, when I went out on maternity leave, the goal was to not go back, for me to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom. And you know, and I still at that time, you know, always donating, but my husband never would, and I still yell at him. I'm like, give people $1. There are children who are sick, they need the $1, give them, you know. So I will donate, and now he does too. And it was an amazing coincidence that after his first full year being with the company, he had his review and he got a raise. His raise covered the amount of money of my salary that we would be losing, and I was able to stay home. Like, it just, like, when I started doing some of the things about, like, you know, following the advice that I was getting from The Secret and from the feng shui books, like, things started changing. It was pretty amazing, and having faith that the universe was going to provide for us, it was pretty cool. So so that leads me to an interesting, you know, going back to what energy are you putting out there? This morning I wake up and come downstairs, my kids are having breakfast, and my husband was reading a news story, or like an alert or something. Over in the middle of the night, there was a kidnapping in the city, and an Amber Alert went out. And so, as most of you know, at least that are in the United States, when an Amber Alert goes out, everybody within a certain vicinity gets an alert on their phone with whatever identifying information that they have on the case, but you know, about the child, about the perpetrator, the vehicle, whatever they have. And so this Amber Alert went out in the middle of the night, and my husband was reading the news story, and there were people commenting on this news story, complaining that they were woken up in the middle of the night by this Amber Alert. And, you know, so my husband and I were discussing it, because that's like, something like that is like one of my, like a pet peeve, like that gets under my skin, because I feel like our world is moving into this, or isn't moving, is kind of is it moved into this place where nobody can be inconvenienced. About, you know, people are very self-absorbed, and you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, like really, like you're complaining that you got a notification that someone's child had been stolen. You don't know if that child's life is at risk. Like you don't know anything. Like your life was inconvenienced for what, 30 seconds? Roll over and go back to bed. You know, stuff like that is such a bummer. Are you the kind of person that gets an Amber Alert in the middle of the night and prays for that child, or do you get on a message board or a news article the next morning and complains that you were woken up? What kind of energy does that send out to the universe, and what kind of energy do you think that's attracting back to you? And if I'm coming across as judging you, I'm not trying to judge you, but I'm trying to lay it out for you what that looks like. And I said to my husband, I said, that person that is complaining about being woken up in the middle of the night by an Amber Alert would be really happy that people were being woken up if it was their child or their niece or nephew or their grandchild or their cousin, or if it was a child that they had a connection with. And it's like, people, we are all connected. And there's definitely a disconnect happening when we can't have empathy and compassion for other human beings. So, and it was funny because that turned into a really interesting conversation that, we had with my 7-year-old, wanting to understand what an Amber Alert was and why would anybody be upset that that they got woken up to be notified that a child was missing. And I'm like, that's a great question. Like, yeah, the 7-year-old gets it. And and we talked about how, my husband and I, how we are trying to teach her and her sisters that the world does not revolve around her, and that we are inconvenienced in our lives, and when things like that happen, that it's really good to show empathy and kindness and compassion and have patience. And we talked about examples of things, and I explained to her that you don't have to worry about making these decisions for a long time, because mom and dad are going to help you with some of these things for a while. Because we explained to her how, because she said, she says, are these people selfish? I'm like, ugh, I don't want her to think that. It's a fine line. And it's like, I don't think people are inherently selfish, but I think that sometimes people lose track of the bigger picture. And can get sidetracked by the things that they want and they desire. And so we need to have a balance of pursuing our dreams and our goals and finding our own happiness, but also having kindness and love and compassion for our fellow human beings. And so I think that's something that we all need to look at within ourselves, is how are we balancing that and putting that energy out there into the world. I think that when we can, I don't know that we can ever have an equal balance. Like, I think that's something we can strive for. I think that it's always going to be a little bit like this, depending on what's going on in our lives. But I think that active striving for the balance of looking out for other people and caring about other people, caring about the welfare of the environment and the things around us, while doing what's best for us, maintaining that balance and, putting that energy out there. I think that is the best thing that we can do. It's just really interesting how these topics kind of melded together for me this week. And it was a really interesting conversation to have with my 7-year-old. That was a challenge because, I want to, sorry, my dog's pulling the microphone. I really wanted to I want to encourage my children, and I want to encourage all of you to go after your dreams and your desires and your goals, like, and love yourself and put yourself first and do things for yourself. But there's a balance, you know, like we can't be egocentric. We can't be all about us. The world does not revolve around us. And so, you know, that's when it came to me. It's like, you know, what energy are we putting out? What we put out is what we're pulling back to us. And you know, I do want to reiterate, like, it is okay to put ourselves first, because I talk about that a lot. Self-care, self-love. You know, I mean, that's a big part of the twin flame journey. But you can take care of yourself. You can put yourself first. You can love yourself and still show compassion and empathy for your fellow human being. An example, a very simple example, is this Amber Alert. You can put yourself first. You get woken up in the middle of the night by an Amber Alert. Send good vibes to that family and roll over and go back to sleep. If you can't go back to sleep, engage in some self-care and just accept the fact that you're going to be tired the next day. Work on having a good attitude. Treat yourself to something awesome throughout the day and move on, you know? So, you know, it's like when we get stuck in traffic because there was a car accident, instead of beeping your horn and being all mad about it, pray or send love, send energy, send good thoughts, whatever it is that you do, but hold space for the people who were involved in the accident, that they're okay. For the first responders, that they're okay while they're responding to the accident. For the people who saw the accident, that they're okay, that they're not traumatized. For the victims' family and friends, and you know what I mean? Like, there's so many more productive things that we can do with our energy than focus on the negative things. And I've found that as I've done that, it's just so much more peaceful. I can't even describe the emotion I feel right now, because I would just so much rather not feel the negativity and be negative and have the anger that people have inside of them, and put it out there. You know, so if you're struggling with those things, because trust me, as a mother of 3, I've absolutely had multiple meltdowns. Had them as a mother too. You know, like, we've all been there. But if you need help in how can we transform negative thoughts into positive, how can we, you know, do these things, how can we move forward, you know, talk to somebody about it. Talk to me about it. Do some energy healing, counseling. Like, there's things that we can do to help you to get to the space that you want to be. You don't have to do that alone. And you don't have to stay stuck where you are. So that leads me to the next thing that I want to talk about. And I'm going to try to talk about it really quickly because I'm going so much longer than I wanted to go on this. So, I don't know if any of you follow Cassidy Kane. She is a twin flame blogger, and she's got some programs, and I think she does readings, maybe does. I'm not really sure about like what she offers in terms of services, because I haven't worked with her that way, but I do read her blog. And her blog today really resonated with me because, you know, there's definitely something funky going on with the general twin flame community. I'm definitely sensing discord among the, I guess you would say, leaders in the community. There's definitely like a couple of camps that are like, I believe this way, I believe this way, I believe this way. And you can't, I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic, and I'm not sure if I'm totally ready to go there yet. But I don't know. But so, one of the things, though, that Cassidy Kane mentioned is that a huge majority of the community seems to be stuck. And I want to share with you part of her blog. I figured that was better than me just like summarizing it, that I would just read directly from her blog. This is just one little excerpt from it. If you want to go read the whole entry, her blog is twinflames1111.com. So what she says, this starts at the headline, Spiritual Truth from a 16th Century Poet. She says, but there is a large part of the community who seem to be stuck. Whether that's an inside perspective or an outside fact, some people simply don't believe things can get better. Some even believe the twins are destined to suffer, and they choose not to take any action for that reason. There's a sense of entitlement, a sense that someone else is to blame for the current situation, or that it's up to someone else to fix things. Often it's not an aggressive sense of entitlement, it's a victimhood mentality. Yes, I'm calling some of you out on it. When the honest truth your soul is waiting for you to realize is, it all begins and ends with you. You are a co-creator of your reality as an infinite soul. If you take the victimhood stance, you mirror this out into your outer circumstances. Call in more of it from the universe. You end up waiting for others. You end up being let down over and over. So do you see how she's talking a little bit about what I'm talking about, with how you attract more of what you're putting out there? She's talking about it a little bit differently than I am. She's talking about it for the people who think that they're stuck, and they just keep putting that out there, and that just kind of keeps them more stuck. But she's talking about the same thing, which when I saw that this morning, I was like, oh, I have to show this, or I have to share this with everybody. She says, I know this can be tough to take, but ultimately you are the only one who can truly make you happy. You are the only one who can make this journey work for you, and you knew that when you came to Earth. When your happiness depends on someone else's behavior, you leave your life's journey vulnerable to circumstances. So again, it's that balance. You are important. You need to love yourself. You need to engage in self-care. You need to follow your dreams and your goals, but you have to balance that out with empathy and compassion for the environment and the people around you. You and your twin didn't come to Earth because you wanted to suffer and experience endless heartbreak. You came here for love. And if things got tangled up along the way, that's often because of free will choices you both made. But you were aware of this possibility too. You took it into consideration. There are always solutions. You made sure of it. The important thing is it's not impossible to come together, but it's up to you. It's certainly not up to me or anyone else. You are the master of your own journey. However, over the last few years, and then she's going on to talk about how she's done the best to provide people with the tools to do what they need to do to move forward on their own journey. And how she's got resources and articles. But she's got some interesting questions. And these are questions that I would actually ask you too, in terms of everything that I've been talking about, but also if you've had readings, not just from me, but from anybody that you've resonated with in the past, I would ask these questions too. Are you using the tools and what you've been told? Are you regularly implying insights to reap real world results? So for example, if someone's telling you you need to let go of X and move on to Y, are you still obsessing about X? Have you made any effort at all? Do you know what I mean? Are you trying to apply any of the insights that you've gained from a reading, or are you just going from reader to reader to reader to reader, seeing if someone's going to tell you A, what you want to hear, and B, that someone's going to magically poof right into your life? Because there are people that do that. I'm not saying that to be a jerk. There are people who do that because some people are just not ready to do the work that they need to do. So she's asking, and I'm asking, are you ready to do the work? Are you taking action, or are you waiting for someone else to take action for you? And that's kind of how her article starts, is how a lot of people are looking outside of themselves to get results on this twin flame journey. And it's so much about the individual. And that's why I try to encourage my clients to, to look into themselves for their own intuition. I'll sometimes, when they ask me a question, I will sometimes put it back on you and say, well, what does your intuition tell you on this? Because we do have that ability to varying degrees. But I thought it was really crazy that she and I were totally on the same page with this today. And I don't know her. No, we don't talk. So I thought that was cool. And then the whole conversation reminded me of the legend of the two wolves that I want to share with you as a closing. So it's called The Wolves Within. An old grandfather said to his grandson, who came to him with anger at a friend who had done him an injustice, he said, "Let me tell you a story. I too at times have felt a great hate for those who have taken so much with no sorrow for what they do. But hate wears you down and does not hurt your enemy. It is like taking poison and wishing your enemy would die. I have struggled with these feelings many times." He continued, "It is as if there are two wolves inside me. One is good and does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him and does not take offense when no offense is intended. He will only fight when it is right to do so and in the right way. But the other wolf, he is full of anger. The littlest thing will set him into a fit of temper. He fights everyone all the time for no reason. He cannot think because his anger and hate are so great. It is helpless anger, for his anger will change nothing. Sometimes it is hard to live with these two wolves inside me, for both of them try to dominate my spirit." The boy looked intently into his grandfather's eyes and asked, "Which one wins, grandfather?" The grandfather smiled and quietly said, "The one I feed." So, so again, which wolf are you going to feed? The one that is angry or the one that is peaceful? Whose energy do you want going out into the universe? So with that, I've gone way longer than I wanted to on this video. Sorry. I had an oracle card that I wanted to share with you with a healing, but I'm going to save that because I really don't want this to go an hour long. So I hope that you enjoyed this message. I felt like this was building all week, so I really feel like this was very important to share with you and to just reflect on. I hope that if you watched this far, that, if this wasn't something that you could use for your own life, it was something that can help you for somebody else. Or even if, maybe you went through a hardship like I did this week, maybe this can inspire you ways to look on the bright side of it and have gratitude for whatever it was that you went through. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon with this week's weekly Twin Flame reading. Take care.